everybody. I'm Guang Yufeng.
And I'm Stephen Kaplan. And we're co-artistic directors of Chinese
Theater Works 纽约美华剧坊.
And we're here today in the China Institute to give you a virtual tour of our Pauline Benton display. So to help us guide you through this wonderful collection, we've brought two of our friends, including Mr. Tiger.
Rawr!
He actually is one of the original Benton shadow figures.
Yes!
And we also brought a three-dimensional friend too. Hey out there in virtual world. Yes, for the year of the ox, we made these Budai Shi style puppet figures, hand puppet figures. So they're gonna be your guides, your docents on this tour through Pauline Benton's life and legacy.
Hi, I would like to tell you something about this lady, Pauline Benton. He brought me here from China almost 100 years ago. Pauline, I love you. I'm going to give you a kiss. Mwah.
Oh, here she is as a young lady dressed up in Philippine style. Her dad was president of the University of Philippines in Manila, and that's where Pauline first came into contact with Asian culture.
Yes.
Now, let's step over this way. Oh, hey Pauline, here she is again with Red Gate. Now, when she got back to New York, she became obsessed with shadow theater. And she started the first shadow puppet theater in North America, the Red Gate Players. Here you can see up on top there the sign from their studio. Ooh, nice painting job. Looks very 30s. Now, through the years, she and her friends did dozens of shows, first in New York City, and then around the country, and then later in life, she moved to California, and in her old age, she took care of her fabulous collection of shadow figures. Ooh, look, there's some I recognize down there. Look at that. So we'll tell her more. Let's go over this way. Okay. Wow. Ooh, look at this. Nice car. Yeah, this must be the Red Gate Players on tour. Sometime, early 1941. Yeah, nice car. Look, snazzy dressers too. Yeah, they toured all over the United States, bringing traditional shadow theater to American audiences for the very first time. Traditional shadow figures. You mean like some of these figures down there? Yeah, like some of those. Oh, let me look closer. Yarr. Wow, nice palace. Wow, they're 2D just like me. Yes, traditional Chinese shadow theater has a long, long history, going back thousands of years. Oh my gosh, look at this. Well, this lady isn't so old, but she looks like a warrior. Yeah, she's a warrior queen there. And this behind you here, ooh, is the military commander's tent. You can see how beautiful the backdrops were. It was very cinematic. And this was before the time of actual movies, but you can see they had very colorful, beautiful scenery for them. Most of the panels you see on display here were put together by Jo Humphrey of the Gold Mountain Institute. She received the Benton collection after Pauline retired and mounted them for public display. This panel here shows different styles of traditional Chinese shadow puppets from different parts of China. Some of them very old, like these top ones. Some of them more refined over here. And you can see the different types of characters. These are military here. Here is a lady. These are court officials. Here are some clowns over here. And some young boys. You can also see all these different animals that you'd find in the different stories. Dragons, of course, are very important. Bats are very good luck in Chinese stories, in mythology. And here's a mythical lion, a unicorn, 2 horses, and of course a frog, and a tiger. Arr. Arr. Hey, where are all these people lined up here? Well, I think it's a wedding procession. A wedding procession? That's right, it was very popular entertainment. So they'd have long, long streams of all these different characters here. Here's the musicians in the front. And over here, let's go over here. Oh, look at all the people here. More musicians and also some guards to make sure everybody's safe on the road. And keep going down here. Here's porters with all the wedding gifts. Wow, look at all those boxes. Yeah, this was a pretty rich wedding. And over here, beyond here, we have carriages with the bride and the groom. Oh, which one's which? I don't know. They're sealed up in there. But I guess they'll find out who's who when they get to their house. Ah, yes. Now, these panels were part of a whole set of like 10 of them. There were over almost 100 figures in this parade.
These figures was ordered by Pauline Benton in China, and when she asked them to make it, she made the size much bigger than the original shadow figures in China, because American people are bigger. They want to see a shadow figure bigger. No, because bigger shadow figure can be shown to the bigger audience. That's the reason. Yeah, and this figures is an empress. You can tell because she is wearing the wave. This is a dragon, and she's wearing the phoenix crown. Okay, this is her servant.
Your Majesty.
Yes, and this one, Jingruandian, is the palace especially for the emperor to work. So over here is an emperor. It's Lao Shenrou. So you can see dragon, this costume with wave. Okay, so this is high platform shoes like Peking opera performers. And this character, this officers has a big round eyes. It's very different from Lao Shenrou. Panel underneath, this Pauline Benton asked artists in China make something differently for American audience to show something in contemporary society, like a car.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, noodle vendor. Oh, I've seen those guys. Great. And who's this guy with the funny pipe on him?
I think he is a small vendor. So, I think probably this one is to sharpen the knife, probably.
Oh,
yes.
Look, there's a rickshaw.
Yes.
Oh,
And
very interesting.
when I was young in Taiwan, I still had something similar like this. And this is an old-fashioned in the north, probably, with horse. Wow, looks very comfy. Oh, wow, look at that lady. Woohoo.
Fancy lady.
Yes.
Oh, boy. So this was 1930 in China.
Yeah,
before the big war.
Right, before, Pauline Benton came back, she remembered how she saw it on the street.
So at the same time the artists were making these figures, they made me too.
Ha 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 ha. Woo!
Here's Pauline backstage at one of the shows. She's fixing one of those little delicate shadow figures. Oh, and look, they're hanging up there on the strings, just like they did in old China. Let's walk over this way. This must be from the other side of the screen. See, all the puppeteers in silhouette? They're doing some kind of big battle sequence there. I know about battle sequences. I'm a general. Let's see. Oh, and here's Backstage too. Yeah, there's Pauline and Lee Ruddle. He's doing the other puppeteers, and then here's another musician, Robert Yeoman. Well, he's banging the gong, as they say. Oh, and let's go over this way. Got something special here. What we have here is the original Red Gate touring stage, or one of them, probably a smaller one actually. And you can see all the original drapes, all that nice silk here. And on the screen there are copies, not the originals, but copies that Stephen made of some of the Red Gate players for the story of Monkey versus the Mountain of Fiery Flames. You can see over there Guan Yin sitting there beneath the bamboos, and Monkey's pleading with him, going, "Oh, please help me. I'm trying to get the priest to India, but I'm having real difficulties. So why don't you come backstage? Come on in. Step this way." Watch your step. It's kind of messy back here. So you can see translucent screen right here, how it's attached to the wooden frame. Very simple technology actually. And what we have on stage here are these copies of the original shadow figures. The original ones just wouldn't stand being out here for so long. They'd start to curl up, all that old leather. And we're using a modern light source too, unlike the ones that Pauline used in her shows. I want to tell you something very special about this stage that Pauline had built into it. Oh, surprise! For her shows to American audiences, she had a little rod puppet about your size, appear in this window here and tell the audience all about the shows they were about to see. Well, that was pretty smart of her. Yeah, I think Pauline was a pretty smart lady. Yep, me too. So, well, what happened to her? That's a good question. Well, there you are. When did you come into the picture?
I first came to America and got to know Joe Humphrey right away. And then she asked me to work for her, doing translations, teaching Chinese, American artists. And later I become performer, teacher, and eventually she gave me the whole company. And in 1995 we got married. And
yeah,
do you remember?
There. I do. You weren't even there. You weren't born yet.
Right.
Well.
And we established Chinese Theater Workshop. And in 2001, two companies merged together, become Chinese Theater Works. Yes. And then we took over all the shadow figures, and we started from traditional shadow theater, and Stephen brought in overhead projectors. We did a lot of touring in America.
One thing we found was that the traditional Chinese shadows were too small to play in big auditoriums and schools and stuff. So we decided we'd use another way of presenting the shadows. We'd use overhead projectors. Very nice instruments that make a big image that you could see like a movie, even with tiny little puppets. So here you see one of our bunnies there, a lot of bunnies. And over here's Mr. Tiger's whiskers and his tongue. Yep, that's your tongue. And that's one of the ways that we've been able to keep this tradition alive through all this layers of transmission from Pauline Benton, Red Gate, to Joe Humphrey, Gold Mountain, and now to Guang Yufeng herself and Chinese Theater Works. That is the story of Pauline Benton's shadow figures and their influence on later shadow puppeteers like ourselves. And now we'd also like to thank Mike Boonig of China Institute that made this possible, made this display possible. And we hope that when things open up again, you come down to China Institute and see for yourself all their wonderful Chinese cultural programs and this display. You can look at them close up. Now, thank you, Tsai Tsin. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and to you, sir, Mr. Tiger.
Thank you. You did a good job.
Ew,
Kiss
Tiger
you. I
swat.
want to kiss you.
No, stay away.
Okay, let's talk to Michael to thank him and then say goodbye.
Good idea. Let's find Michael. Hey, Michael!
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 Hi, my name is Michael Buning. I'm with China Institute in America. China Institute was founded in 1926, and our mission is to further a deeper understanding of China through arts and culture, business, fine art, and education. We were founded in 1926 by the educators and reformers Hu Shi and John Dewey.